So I guess, and I'm having a hard time. I Googled a lot, but
Me
it
too.
depends who you ask. What exactly the quote unquote list of names that was most recently released? I won't say leaked because it wasn't. It was like legally released. Even is they tell me that it's some sort of shorthand scribbles from a pilot, just sort of his thoughts or something. But no one wants to be
It kind of
there's
sounds
some.
like you're talking about the flight log right now.
Yeah, I'm talking about this newest list that came out that has Stephen Hawking's name on it, that has David Copperfield's name on it. Obviously, Trump, obviously Bill Clinton 70 something times, like mid 70s. Like I'm leaning toward I have a hard time believing Donald Trump didn't do some stuff with some underage girls at this point. Having a real hard time with Bill
So
Clinton though.
there's some of it's not as incriminating as it seems. I'm not talking about Clinton specifically here. I'm not defending
Mhm.
anyone.
Some of
But
the
they'll be
others.
like, was Elon Musk on this plane? And they'll
Mm,
be like, no, I have no recollection of ever seeing or even hearing his name come up in conversation. Well, boom. Now he's been unmasked and Elon Musk's in there twice. That one's not actually true, but that's the
mm.
kind of thing that's happened. People have been brought up and it if you know the details, they're literally found innocent. I'm looking for a better word. But
Vindicated perhaps.
okay. But yeah, they brought up their name. They said they had nothing to do with any of this, but now their name is in there, and it's not a good look. You wish no one asked about you at all.
Mm,
Um, there has been a fake image of Jimmy Kimmel like being in there, but that's a fake image. It's something Aaron Rodgers said that Jimmy Kimmel was on the list. And Jimmy Kimmel got very upset. He's like, I don't know this guy. I was never had nothing to do with any of this. And my family's getting death threats now, and I'll sue you if you say another word.
mm,
And he was on Pat McAfee's show when he said that. So Pat McAfee apologized for having anything to do with it. I don't
mhm.
know that Aaron Rodgers has said a word. And now that it's released, Jimmy Kimmel's name is not on there, but there are fake images going around saying
Of
it was.
course.
That's
And it's weird to see like obviously I watch some more right wing YouTubers, not exactly political stuff, but more like social stuff, socially right. And their take on that was so weird. They're like, "What about the time Jimmy Kimmel did blackface?" It's like,
Hmm.
what about it? Yeah, I watched the man show. That was some funny shit. But
Grasping
I
for
get that.
straws.
Yeah, he used
Mhm.
to have women jump up and down. Like if you want to say he's a hypocrite when it comes to sexism or racism, I'll bite right into that big sandwich of truth.
Sure.
But if you're telling me that it's okay for Aaron Rodgers to go make a joke that he's on the pedophile list when they're both celebrities of note, this isn't Jim saying about Harry. That's bullshit. He should know better than that. And I like Jimmy Kimmel's response as much as I dislike Jimmy Kimmel. And
Mm.
Aaron Rodgers, I'm sure, like his real attorney probably called him, was like, "Yeah, he gave you some good advice there. Don't say another fucking word. Like don't say any fucking thing. You're liable here. Like you could be in a lot of trouble."
So regarding Trump, I've only seen one new thing come out of this list. A lot of the old stuff where he praised Epstein as being a lot of fun. He seemed to know that he was a pedophile. He said he really likes women as much as I do. He likes
Saw
them
that.
on the younger side. That's old news. Weird that it's not part of our like cultural knowledge, but that's old news. The only new thing is, I guess there was a flight with some underage girls on it, and they were like leaving because of bad weather, and they're like, you know what, let's go to Trump's casino. So they
Mm.
like they called Trump and they went to his place. That's not that incriminating. I mean, he owns a destination, right? Like
They're not
casino.
allowed in the ID every step of the way, you know. They're not going to hit the slots. They're going to get their slots hit.
Oh,
That's
Ooh,
a sick line. All right.
so quick with those, don't you love it?
Yeah, that was
Oh,
outstanding.
and I'm hot.
But but just by
Grade me
I
on a
know.
curve.
it's a hotel and casino. If people don't know, Trump, these are hotel casinos. And that's where they went as a destination, landed Lolita Express there and hung out at Trump's hotel. It's not a good look, but it's not
Mm.
really a smoking gun either, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think we're getting a real, like, whatever Epstein list. Like,
What?
I think all the real stuff's been curated. The evidence has been destroyed. There's a reason it took years, and now it's just going to be more of
No.
the same.
There's a
Where
thing.
it'll
No.
be a few people that come out, and it'll be like, oh,
Mm-mm.
wow, Bill Clinton and Alan Dershowitz are on it. People have been saying that for years now. Like, there's not going
And
to
now we
be a
know.
huge, big bomb of it. I
So-
don't think.
The Dershowitz thing is interesting because he's the most incriminating new information that I'm aware of. They literally, they're like, underage girl gave him a massage, fucked him. And Dershowitz is like, yeah, she later said she wasn't sure it was me. So like, I'm kind of innocent. I'm like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, bullshit.
Sounds like she got some pressure.
That guy seems skeevy as shit.
I thought it was hysterical that David Copperfield's name was on the list a couple times, and that Stephen Hawking was, because like that mathematician should be able to know if girls underage. You would think. I saw pictures of him. I don't know if they're shopped. They usually are, but you know, it's him sitting there all decrepit on like
hard
a chair by a pool, like laid out. And I'd never seen him lay him out like that. They usually keep him in that little thing, and he had like a couple girls with him who looked. I didn't think they looked underage, but they didn't look old.
Yeah. He was never doing physics. It was all age of consent.
Did his dick
math.
work? You think his dick still worked? Like,
there's no way his dick worked well if it did. But him being on the island, that tells me something was working down there.
You'd guess, right?
Some kind of exoskeleton.
Or I know he was like kind of a saucy, spicy guy. Like he liked his porn a lot. So I don't know if he's jerking off or just appreciating the female form.
Zach, do a little Googling. Find out if Stephen Hawking's cock still worked.
Yeah, I would love. Yeah, Zach, please look into that. See if you can figure it out.
Is he capable of defiling a young maiden? That's all I need to know.
So there was something. There's some connections that make Trump look bad. Like so you guys might remember Epstein got busted and got a real sweetheart deal and basically got set off free for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And then he got busted again, at which point he eventually killed himself in prison. Or died in prison, whatever.
Yeah, I think
so. The first sweetheart deal, it seemed like he got that because he was so well connected, and the guy who gave him that sweetheart deal, the prosecutor, became Trump's labor secretary. Like, so a lot of people are like, "Man, this guy's really tied in," and Trump hooked him up with the sweetheart job after he got Epstein off when Trump could have been in hot water. But this is all a little. I feel like Alex Jones here, right? I usually demand better evidence than this.
No, Epstein was very connected. Like he had. Little inroads everywhere. He was running a honeypot to basically.
But the guy that gave Epstein
politicians.
his sweetheart deal became Trump's labor secretary. And I ask myself, Woody, would you convict a guy you like? You know, if you had evidence that flimsy, and I'm not sure I would. So I'm trying to be honest.
I heard. I was watching that podcast with the CIA guy, John Kirikow or something like that. He's written a book about it. Anyway. They asked him, and this is recently, this is like a week or so ago, like a month or two ago, when the Palestinian thing first kicked off. They asked him about Epstein and also about the Palestinian thing. And he thought that Epstein was a Mossad agent because Ghislaine Maxwell's father was a known Mossad agent, like a famous
Robert
Mossad
Maxwell
agent. So the idea is that it's what Taylor said. It's a place where he's clearly bringing influencers and powerful people from all over the world, not only for the purposes of maybe running video and audio for maybe pressure to put on them, but also he said that Mossad would be very valuable for an intelligence agency just to be able to get amongst those people and like get them in a room and talk to them. Maybe not about like, you fucked a boy, we've got it on tape, now your company does this. Maybe just like, you do a lot of business in the Middle East. You know, you rub elbows with the sheik all the time. Could you put in a good word to the sheik about my friend Alan? Alan needs a meeting with him. Mr. Dershowitz, could you come in here? Alan wants to meet the sheik, and it's a bad look to do so publicly, but you know the sheik. And the idea of an intelligence agency being able to pull strings and put people together and manipulate and just get that information. They talked about how the CIA has this program where they're not allowed to work in certain places, certainly on American soil, supposedly, but also in certain places around the world, it's tricky to get in. There's no way you can send some Mormon white guy over there and have him but we have businessmen here who do business there. So those white men with suits walk right in there with the sheik, and the sheik pats him on the back because we're all in cahoots together, like doing legitimate business. And so the CIA recruits people like that. He suggested that as much as it might be a blackmail thing, although he didn't like the idea of blackmail, and this is a guy who blackmails people for a living, he's like, 9 times out of 10, they kill themselves, you know? Or he said they'll either rat themselves out to their own people because, you know, they're not going to deal with the filthy American, or they'll kill themselves. You know, he said that's what usually happens. They asked him about Epstein, and he said he didn't think Epstein did.
I think that blackmail had a good deal to do with it.
I just want to get this in here. Zach looked it up. Apparently, Stephen Hawking's dick got hard and worked.
That dog.
That
Investigative
fucking
journalism at its best.
monster. Yes, that monster. He was using his crippled penis on all those poor victims.
Yeah, I guess he probably needed a guy to help him get laid.
I mean, he just
Really?
Yeah,
You think he's got the Riz? He types into his fucking ColecoVision. Yeah, baby, you look stunning.
Dude, every woman wants to fuck a light bright, and that's exactly what he is.
Poor guy.
You just make him festive. Yeah. That's,
if we
that guy
get a
must have
great
been-
mind like Stephen Hawking, isn't it worth
was
it?
he even
to-
smart? What was he up to? What
I've
was he
heard.
really figuring out? I bet there were real scientists. I bet he was a Steve Jobs. I bet there were
Didn't
real
he
scientists
figure out
behind the
that
scenes giving
radiation
him.
escaped from black holes? And
Hawking
that meant-
radiation. They named it after the man.
Yeah,
Nah,
and
because
then it
he's a
means
fucking
that black
top
holes
guy.
will eventually shrink and just like dissipate instead of just collecting.
They're losing energy.
infinitely,
Yeah.
they're losing energy and giving it back out, and they'll eventually go away.
Dude, I can make a million
found-
theories about something that will never happen within the window of human
Yeah,
existence.
make one.
Yeah, actually, the black holes are gaining energy, Mr. Hawking, and it's called Taylor radiation. You dumb dead retard, you fucking legless dumbass. Oh, and you can't test it because it's a billion jillion miles away, and it's dark matter.
You think you're so smart? Well, let's arm wrestle. See who's
Yeah,
right.
you think you're so smart? I'll beat the shit out of you. I would have held him in the
Rip your
surf.
shirt off.
I would have held his limp body in the surf at St. James Island and bullied him. And I would have been like, hey, where are the real scientists, you fucking Steve Jobs piece of shit? You didn't come up with anything.
Poor
Is
Mr.
that right,
Hawking.
Stephen Hawking? The good news is you're here in St. James Island. You're
He's
about to
probably-
get fucked. The bad
probably
news
a-
is it's Taylor.
What if he was part of the offering there? Where
Right?
It was like some rich sheik, and they're like, we have all these underage kids for you, and at your request, a crippled man from Manchester born in the 30s.
You think she's soft? Where do you meet Stephen Hawking?
Wait till you meet
This guy
Stephen
has
Hawking.
no muscle mass at all.
Dude, he's the veal of partners. he's got no muscle mass, soft as can be.
47-year-old veal.
Yeah, covered in bed sores on his bony ass. Dude, fuck Stephen Hawking. That guy sucks.
Hot take.
He's dead.
I'm glad.
All right, yeah. You're right. That guy sucked.
He did suck.
Make
You're
it
not making
past
any
tense.
points, Kyle.
I like Stephen Hawking. He was in an episode of Star Trek. It was pretty fun.
Really?
He always had a sense of humor. Yeah, there's like Data goes into the holodeck and he's like, give me I want to talk to Einstein, Stephen Hawking, and I don't know, Socrates or somebody, Da Vinci, whatever. And they just bring Stephen Hawking in instead of getting an
Was
actor.
it next
So he's-
gen?
Yeah.
I don't remember it. That's like
Yeah,
saying I like Johnny Depp. He was in Walking Dead.
I think they play poker. They play poker. That's what it is. He's playing poker with Einstein, and Hawking has this little robo hand holding his cards up for him or whatever, and he's cracking jokes, of course, because apparently he has a
Johnny
sense of
Depp was in
humor.
Walking Dead. He played a decapitated head for just a few seconds.
Oh, that's neat. I had one of my girlfriend's friends was in. It was actually in the episode where Merle dies, if you remember back then.
Well, I
Um,
don't remember exactly how it went down, but sure, I remember that.
yeah, it was during the.
Oh yeah, he
governor
died
shit, and-
heroically in an
Yeah,
outpost of some sort. Yeah.
he I think the governor was about to kill all of our main characters, and maybe Merle shows up and was like, "No, you won't," or whatever, and like died trying. But she's in that scene because she's some girls have big eyes. She had some big eyes. She's just got these peepers, and when they put those contacts in there, there's like a muddy brownish yellow, and she goes, "Ah!" It was like, "Fuck, you're a really good zombie. This is great." Like I think
That's
like,
cool.